Good evening, everyone. Welcome to OSA Friday for Females. I'm here with Tara. Good evening, Tara. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. So I'm going to jump right into it and start asking you questions. Tell us your journey toward becoming a nutritional health coach.
Sure. So, I actually used to be in corporate America, working the grind like everyone does. And I just really got more interested in health and wellness due to some health challenges I was going through. I actually was pre-diabetic, even though I thought I was doing everything right. So I decided I needed to learn more so that I could reverse that. And thankfully I did, and have touch wood, 10 years later, I'm still nowhere near pre-diabetic again. So it was about learning the right things to do for your body because everybody's different.
I mean, and that's so important too. I mean, a lot of times people don't know that they're pre-diabetic because not all the symptoms are the same for everybody. Like they put the standard symptoms out there, but not everyone experiences those symptoms. So you could
Yeah.
be there and not know that you're there.
And especially, I was just like very, like one, like 0.01 over the pre-diabetic line. So I was very, very early into it, but that's where you want to catch it. I mean, obviously you don't even want to
Yeah.
get to that point, but if you do, you want to reverse it right then. And the great news is that you can reverse it. It's not just because you may have a genetic predisposition to it, or you may have, something else going on in your body. It's not that you can't reverse what's going on through diet and lifestyle changes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, all you have to do is eat right and it's not like you have to give up sugar, right? It's just monitor how much you may eat in a given day. Or,
Exactly. And unfortunately there's sugar hidden in so many of our food
yeah.
products. If you're buying packaged foods, you're getting a lot of sodium and sugar that you might not even realize, which is why we try to say, like, eat more natural products, try and make your own food as much as possible. Obviously people are busy and sometimes you need some shortcuts, but even with shortcuts there are healthier options.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. Healthy wine, clean wine. It's like when you think wine, it's more of like, oh, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have fun with this. But then all of a sudden it's like healthy wine and clean wine. And I'm like, wait a second. How does this work? So please enlighten us.
Sure. I mean, the crazy thing is that most people are not aware that a lot of commercial wine has a lot of additives and added sugar, chemicals, lots of things we don't want to be drinking. So I was blessed to find Scout and Cellar wine, which actually has none of those things. It went back to the traditional way of making wine and just having the grapes and the smallest amount of sulfites. So you're not getting any of the junk that's in a lot of commercial wines. You don't have to worry about the added sugar. So it's not only clean in terms of you're not getting any additives, but you're also getting a lower calorie and carb count because you're not getting that added sugar.
Yeah, it works every way. Now, because it's like the actual way you're supposed to create wine, are the effects greater? Like the
You know, the funny thing is, I mean, I definitely feel like it goes to my head a little bit quicker. I won't lie to you about that. You know, it's not that our alcohol content is really any different. It's the same as, most traditional wines. But I do think because you don't have all those fillers in there, that it goes through your body quicker.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, is everything else you have to break down everything else for it to actually hit you, whereas this one you don't have to really break down anything. It just it goes right to your head.
Exactly, exactly. So, I like to call it the nicer vice.
So if you want the little buzz, then and a quicker version of it, then we go to you.
Well, and also, red wine has a lot of good health properties to it as long as you have it in moderation. Obviously, my whole belief is everything in moderation, right?
Yeah.
You should never cut everything out of your diet because then you're just going to want it. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, if you have an allergy or you have an addiction problem, that's something different. But if just, everyday life, it's all about balance and making sure that you're, treating yourself right and listening to what your body's telling you as well.
No, that's very important, and especially right now, like we're still somewhat stuck at home, and our go-to might be food, and exercise is hard. There's all these excuses of like, or inabilities to do things, that we have to be a little bit more conscientious of what we're eating, especially in the sugar carb area, because that's where people go when
Yep,
you're
the
stressed.
comfort,
Yeah.
the comfort food.
Exactly.
And again, it's okay to do that sometimes, as long as, I kind of think of like the 80-20 rule, like 80% of the time, eat as clean as you can, 20% have those enjoyable things. Because again, if you're not telling yourself that you can never have it, that you can have it every once in a while, it doesn't become a forbidden food, and it doesn't become something that you then obsess over.
Yeah. That makes sense. It does truly make sense. It's like if you tell a kid don't do something, what's the first thing they do? They do it.
Yeah, they want to do it. Exactly.
Yeah. So adults are no different. We're big kids. You are a part of a lot of companies and your businesses as well. So how do you, you have a business, you're part of companies. How do you do it all?
Yeah, it's, to be honest, it's not easy every day. And I won't say that it is, because when you have 3 companies that you are, one is my own and 2 I'm, representative for, you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And so I think for me, time blocking is the way that I can get through it, making sure that I have set aside these certain hours for this company, these certain hours for this company, and these certain hours for this company, and really giving myself those boundaries. And also making sure that I have my personal boundaries so that I'm not working 24/7, because that's not going to help me either. The adage of you can't pour from an empty cup. I'm not going to be able to help anybody if I'm not taking care of myself. So it's finding the time in the day. Like, I make sure I get a workout in every day, because that kind of keeps me sane. And then, doing my time blocking. And, sometimes, a certain company job may take more time that week than others. So it's allowing myself the flexibility to know what's more demanding in that time.
Now, what I got from that is like your ability to say no. You have your boundaries, you have what your schedule is like, and you know how to take care of yourself. And I think that's very hard, especially for female entrepreneurs, to say no, because it's kind of innate to just help everybody and give, that to just step back and say no, it's like out of our nature, and
Absolutely.
and it's not like you're going to hurt the other person. You don't have to say no and I'm never going to do it again. You can say no, not right now, but let's schedule a time, later on this week or next week. But if, like you said, if you're not healthy and if you can't take care of yourself, nothing else succeeds. So it's important that it starts with you and it ends with you, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and like you said, women traditionally, give until they can't give anymore. And we just have to be better at saying no. And it took me a while. I was always a yes person for a really long time. And then I finally realized that, it wasn't serving me and it wasn't serving others. So you got to find that motivation within yourself to know that you have to have those boundaries.
I'm going to have to show you my no pen.
Excellent. I like it.
Yeah, it's like a pen and it says no in different ways and it's hilarious. But you can just press the no pen and then it makes the person laugh. So it kind of like it helps to make it funny when you're saying no, but then it puts in your mind like, okay, it's okay to say no.
I like it. I'm going to have to get one of those.
Yeah, you just look it up on Amazon, no pen, and it's hilarious. I have a video of it, of like what it says. And I did it with the kid where he's like, ma'am, and I'm like, no. It's just like constant. But I think it just helps, and he just started cracking up and then stopped. So it's a fun pen. And then it works for you. You can write too. So what are some tips you can give people who are trying to lose weight?
So my biggest thing is, don't think about a diet, right? Again, it's that starting from the place of deprivation. So I always say, let's start by adding the good in. That's where you want to start. Look at what you're eating and try to add in more greens, more veggies, because that's generally where people are lacking, right? Yeah. They're eating more processed foods and things like that. So I always say, start by adding in. And then the second thing I do is say, keep a food journal, but not so that you're militant about what you're eating, but so that you're aware of what you're eating, and then aware of how you feel after you're eating. because that's one of the big things I try to teach people is how is your body reacting to certain foods? Just because a food is healthy doesn't mean that it's actually healthy for you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, it's, it's a healthy food. Like I can eat 8 things of spinach and I'll be fine. Well, not necessarily. You could have a reaction to that. So understanding that your body processes things differently. And so there's no one right way to eat for everybody. You have to really individualize it.
Yeah, and I like how you bring the cognitive side to it, right? Like understanding how is your body reacting, because if you know your body is not enjoying it, and why are you going to continue putting your body through pain, right? I was talking to somebody who found out that she was allergic to mold, and her body was so inflamed because she was eating food that contained mold, not realizing that there are foods that contain mold. And so it was just kind of, and it was foods like nuts and lentils, which in our mind, it's like a good protein, a good like snack. But in reality for her, it was not good, and it made her sick and just to the point of misery until she figured out that, hey, this is something I shouldn't be eating.
Exactly. And I mean, that's like the perfect point of everybody is different, where nuts and seeds are really good for some people, not necessarily for everybody. And so really being intuitive and listening to your body is so important.
I like that approach. It's very holistic. So it's not just, and then I like the fact that you look at, where the person's at, because a lot of times you look at people or diets and they're like, just take out everything. And it's like detox. And like you said, if you're addicted to something or if you're used to a certain way of eating, to completely annihilate all of that, you're throwing your body into a whole, it's a bad scenario, right? And then you're going to go back to it once the diet's done and gain all of it back, maybe even more, because you've deprived yourself of it. So
exactly. I mean, personally, I do think that there are times where a detox is helpful. Again, depends on the person, but not an extreme detox, because if you do an extreme detox, as you said, you're just going to go back to the way you're eating, and you were in maybe misery for 5 days for no reason, because you're just going to go back to it. So, again, I try to look at the whole person and see what's going on with their life. I mean, when we look at someone, it's looking at what's going on in their relationships and their careers. All these things are impacting what you're eating and how your body's processing things as well.
Yeah, very true. And especially now, like, I've been hearing like mental health is so high and depression is so high, and that also impacts how you eat. Some people might not eat at all, and some people might just eat everything. So, I mean, it varies from person to person, but it's a big, like your external factors play a big role in what you put into your mouth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing this approach very holistically. That's so cool.
Well, I think it's really the only way to be successful, if you ask me.
There you go, right there. I love it. I know you don't do juicing, but you sell things that relate to juicing, can you explain that?
Sure, I will explain it. So Juice Plus is actually, it's not actually juice, it's actually whole food nutrition in a capsule. So it's actually 30 raw fruits, vegetables, and berries that have been picked at the peak of ripeness. And then they're dried and then ground into a capsule. So it's not a vitamin, but it's actually better than a vitamin because you're getting all those phytonutrients from the fruits, vegetables, and berries, and you get them in capsule form. So it's particularly great for kids who, typically don't eat a lot of vegetables. As well as just foundational nutrition for all of us, because, the quality of our produce has really gone down. I think the last thing I saw was that, like, if you look at a bowl of spinach from 1950 versus how much iron would be in a bowl today, you would need 40 bowls of spinach versus that one bowl from 1950.
Whoa, that is crazy. That is, wow. I mean, but if you think about it, a lot of our foods are more processed now, and it's hard to obtain the nutrients anyway. So that's why I think like a lot of people are trying to go more organic so that they can get the nutrients. I mean, I
Yes.
like to eat dried mangoes, and I went the other day to get those, and then on the thing it says added sugar, and I'm like, why do you need to put more sugar into
In a
mangoes,
mango.
which is like already like so sweet? I was like, I don't think I can handle more sugar. Like, just give me the mango, you
Yeah.
know?
And that's, that's part of the problem with our whole food system, honestly, is, we've got to get the sugar out. We've got to get the pesticides out. There's just far too many pesticides, and especially in foods that children eat,
Yeah.
you don't want them starting out life with a pesticide overload.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you'll have to come up with the creation of how to do it, and then make this whole like. That'll be your next entrepreneurship goal. That's your overall mission.
Yes,
So
yes. It's definitely an important thing, and it's something that we all, really need to take ownership of and demand change, because how do you vote with your wallet?
yeah.
So if we're not buying the processed garbage that they're trying to give us all the time, and of course they make it so that it's addictive. They put in
Mm-hmm.
chemicals and things so that it's addictive. It's cheap. And so especially for people who live in lower income areas, they're pushed to the cheaper foods because that's what they can afford.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
and
tragic.
and if you look at vegetables or fruits, it's very hard. I mean, they're pretty expensive. So it's like even if you
Yeah,
want to try to be healthy, if you can't afford it, I mean, like you said, you're forced, and it's kind of hard if you can't promote being healthy if you can't give people the tools to be successful with it.
exactly. And I do love like the Juice Plus company gives a lot away for free, through charities, because it is foundational nutrition, and they want to make sure it's getting to those kids. We also have a tower garden that is an aeroponic growing tower that you can
Oh,
grow your
cool.
own fruits and vegetables, and we give those away to a lot of boys and girls clubs. And
Oh,
it's just another way to, first of all, you're teaching the kids to grow their own vegetables and see where it comes from, and so they know
hmm,
it doesn't just come from the store. But then they also get to enjoy eating those things that they grew.
yeah, that's neat. That's the best way to teach a kid too. So,
Absolutely.
what was one of your most memorable experiences?
Oh my goodness. um, Gosh, probably being stuck at sea.
Okay, you're gonna have to expound on that one a little bit.
So I guess it was about 5 years ago now. I was on an amazing trip with my mom. We were cruising from Australia to New Zealand, and our ship broke down in the middle of the Tasman Sea.
Wow.
And
And so you
it
had
was a
to
little bit
survive that.
it was a little bit nerve-wracking to just be adrift. But you know what? At the same time, it was a great lesson, because there were a lot of people on the ship complaining their trip is ruined, and they're, just not trying to make the best of it. We all made the best of it. We're like, okay, well, we got an extra sea day. Let's go play games. Let's do what we need to do. And then, we eventually got back into port safely. And people were being rude to the staff, and it was like, it's not the staff's fault. Like, be kind to them. They don't want this to happen. So we
Yeah.
were like, being extra kind to everybody. And we just, we're like, okay, well, now we have more time in Australia. So we'll make the best of it. It's not the trip we had planned, but what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think looking at the positive side of things helps you get through life a lot better, right? If you're constantly pessimistic or negative, um, i- i- your life becomes less enjoyable, because it's constant blaming, and then it's like,
Hmm.
well, this isn't fun. You just find everything wrong with everything, and it's like, why live that way? You don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring, so just enjoy it.
Exactly.
And the people on that ship, they got you back safe. It wasn't like, I mean,
Right.
you it reminds me of the show Arrow. Have you heard of Arrow?
I haven't.
It's based on the DC comic The Green Arrow, who got
Okay.
stranded on an island for 5 years because his he had a shipwreck, and it was like how he had to survive on this island, and there was like all these like military people and just crazy stuff, and he had to just learn how to survive. And I'm like, well, see, it could be worse. So I mean, he survived obviously, but I'm like, it could be worse, right?
Absolutely.
So.
And that's another one of the things that in my practice, I always talk about is having a gratitude journal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you practice gratitude every day, it kind of gets you more into that positive mindset, which is so important.
It is.
Especially the last year, right? I mean, we needed to find positivity where we could, right?
Yeah, it was the simple things this past year, is like taking a walk or seeing a butterfly, or little things like that was I think it helped, at least for me. It was like I enjoyed it because it allowed time to slow down a bit. I mean, we're a very fast-paced society, and I think it just gave a lot of people the time to reflect and self-reflect and decompress and really just enjoy moments and learn how to enjoy moments and be present. So
absolutely. I think, we can definitely find some positives, and that's one of them over the last year, just taking some time.
Yeah. Getting all of those like to-do things off the list, right?
Exactly.
So, who was or is your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration. Probably one of my uplines in one of my companies, because she is also doing more than one business, and she really bases everything on finding the joy, finding your flame. And if you don't have that joy, that flame in everything that you do, it's going to be work, right? And you should really try to find something that you're passionate about. I mean, that's why I switched careers. I loved what I did before, but I had a passion that I wanted to help people and kind of leave the world a better place. And sure, that's not what everybody wants to do, but whatever it is that you choose, it just has to be where your flame is.
Yeah, that's true. Like I hear so many people who do jobs and they wake up every morning and they're like, I hate going to work. And it's like, well, that can, change that, or figure out a way to make it more fun. But a lot of times business entrepreneurs open up a business because it's something that they're enjoying and that they want to take a hobby or a passion and make it their life. And if you start to lose sight of that, then then that doesn't come out in your business anymore, and there's more frustration, and people will sense that. So I like that philosophy of that is a great inspiration to just enjoy life and to be passionate about what you do every day.
Yeah. And, and as you said, it's, understandably, you don't want to go out and quit your job tomorrow if you aren't enjoying it, right? So first, definitely try and see if you can improve where you are and see if you can make it your passion. And if it's not, work on your exit plan.
Yeah, exactly. What are 5 characteristics of a good leader?
I think listening is the first one, because if you can't listen and understand what's going on around you, you're never going to be the right leader. You have to have compassion, be authentic. That's one of my huge rules in life, is to be authentic, because again, if you're not authentic, you don't have trust with people. Mm-hmm. And being trustworthy, because again, if people can't rely on you and feel like you have their back and that you're going to do what's best for everybody, they're not going to work hard for you. And then, just be kind.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. It's more, I mean, what I got from that is like, if you treat your staff and the people around you with the respect and the courtesy and trust, they're going to do what it takes to make sure that your business is successful as well. And it kind of comes full circle, right?
Absolutely.
If you can't do that with them, eventually they'll see through the waters and be like, why am I going to follow you? And
right.
And it's really true. I mean, you stick to your gun. You say you're going to be somewhere, you be there. If you don't know something, don't pretend like you do.
Right.
Yeah, say that you don't know something. It's okay for a leader to not know something. I think the difference is that as a leader, you can't just know something. You have to say, I don't know it, but I'll find out and come back with an answer later. And I think that's
Absolutely.
the key difference to take note of. So, well, my last question is if someone was to write a book about you, what would the title be and why?
I bet you it would be I'm Still Dancing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Like, so explain that a little bit.
Because one of the things I love in life so much is dancing. It's good for my soul. And, you know, now I can do like Zumba. I do that once a week outside, which has been a godsend in COVID time since the gym shut down. But it's something that brings me joy, and it trickles into all other parts of my life, right? Because when I'm happy from that, you get all those lovely endorphins and you're just feeling good, and then you spread the good.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. I like that. If you ever write that book or have someone write it about you, I'm reading.
Excellent.
Well, Tara, this was a pleasure. At the end of the session, I welcome you to please put your website onto the video so that people can get your healthy wine and we can all cheer to you for giving us, a healthy wine that we can drink. And if anyone else wants to be part of OSA Friday for Females, please send me a message.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Have a good evening.
You too.